What is up, Last War family? This is OMFG Joe from Server 379. Going to go over a much anticipated breakdown of the skills you should be working on for your missile heroes. This is probably the most difficult because they have so many great skills. But before we get started into it, please do hit that like button. Please do go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribing is free for you guys, and it's the best way to indicate to me that and to YouTube that these videos are very important and people do want to watch them. And then the last thing, please do comment any other videos that you'd like to see. And don't hesitate to join the Discord channel. It's getting really nice, and there's lots of people that give great information in there, not just myself. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So this was probably the hardest one for me, not because of anything else except for that Missile is different than the rest in that you really have got to look. You've got so many heroes that do physical damage, and your top guy on paper, Tesla, is not that guy. So let's talk about these skills. Let's go ahead and go through it. So, I'm going to tell you guys that these first two I would say are almost interchangeable, but I'm still going to go with the top left for Swift first. That physical damage attacking the enemy unit with the lowest current HP. So let's go ahead and look at that real quickly. So right here is what we're reading. That lowest current HP percentage, dealing their health power, dealing physical damage equal to 468,000.42. What's amazing and awesome about this, and then of course it gets a stack burn, and we'll talk about that in more detail here in a second too. That attack's going to only have a cooldown of 1.35 seconds and attack stack of burn on the target. So the burn deals continuous physical damage equal to 10% of Swift's attack per second, lasting 10 seconds. This maximum stacks an enemy can have in their number of missile vehicle heroes is Swift Squad 1 up to 5 stacks. So this one is probably slightly better than this skill, and the reason for it is because you're going to be taking out your lowest ranked player with this on the other squad. You may go, hey, Joe, why would I want to take out the lowest ranked player? Because the lowest ranked player a lot of times, like for instance, if you're facing tank, which does very well against missile, the lowest ranked player is going to be Marshall. And as we've talked about in the other video for tank, as Marshall goes, the tank goes. So if Marshall dies because his buffs go away, the tank dies. So your next skill that you're going to work on after that is going to be your weakness target. Attack 3 random enemy units dealing physical damage equal to 892.54% of the attack. Cooldown is 10 seconds and adds 1 stack of burn on each target, reducing all damage equal to the hero's damage this hero receives by 5%. So you also get a reduction of your own damage with this one, which is great. So this is both a attack skill and a defensive skill in that regard. And you may look at this one and go, hey, this one's better than the other one, and I can't argue with you much about that. The one thing that I would say is different, though, is the randomness of this one. Even though it gives more total attack, it's going to attack one single hero individually. That hero is going to die, and then it's going to attack the next hero. Okay, after we get done with that one, the next thing we're going to work on, and this was a tough one for me to decide on, but the next one we're going to boost is going to be Tesla's Electric Grid Lockdown 2. The reason we're going to work on this one is because the biggest ordeal when you're facing other squads is that those defensive players up front protect that back row very well, and they're taking all the damage, and a lot of your damage dealers will attack front row first. Even though it's energy damage, which doesn't do as well against air or tank, it hits the 3 back row enemies every single time, dealing energy damage equal to 13,112.02% of the attack. The cooldown is 10 seconds, also applies 2 stacks, and let's go ahead and dig into this. So inductive current deals continuous energy damage equal to 3% of Tesla's attacks per second, lasting 30 seconds. The maximum stack an enemy can have is the number of missile heroes in Tesla's squad. 3 up to 15 stacks. So you'll see this, you'll notice this on his when it's doing it. And let's hit the play button so it'll show you. See how it's doing that electric grid? Boom, it's killing as many as it possibly can. And if you watch this other one, this is the one that you'll see that's doing a lot of damage, as you can see as well. That one's extremely nice as well. So if we'll go back, we'll watch this one real quickly too. So see, it's attacking a specific person every single time. That's the best thing about it, the one with the lowest power. And then you've got this one that's going to shoot the missiles, 3 of them randomly. And it does do more damage overall, so I can't argue with you if you decide you want to do that one first. But now here's the next one, and this one is so nice, okay? This is going to be probably one of the first times I'm going to tell you guys to do a defensive boost early. And it is because Adam's defensive boost is what allows you to do the formation you've seen me do and seen many others do, where you're able to put Swift up front. They buff each other very well. And this passive skill that he has in battle reduces all damage received by the front row units by 13%, with effect doubled for missile vehicles. So you're getting a 26% front row damage reduction when you put him in the back. And that's why you really like Swift up front. Swift is great up front for that. He really buffs well. That's going to be your number 4. Next, we're going to go somewhere probably unexpected for a lot of people. But again, because you need to do the attack for physical damage as much as you possibly can, we're jumping to Fiona next. And for Fiona, we're going to do her top left anti-aircraft, because a lot of times when you're starting with missile, that's what you're going to be facing off against. Other missile, which Tesla will do a lot of damage against them, or you're going to be doing you're going to be facing an aircraft team, not tank most of the time, mostly aircraft. And that anti-aircraft missile, see that right there? This is specifically attacking aircraft, which is great. And obviously it will work against tank and others as well. But she is specifically going to be the best against air. So that anti-aircraft missile is going to deal physical damage equal to 408.11%, and the cooldown is only 1.35 seconds, so it's going to be doing it on a regular basis for you. Next one we're going to go to, and this one again, this was a tough one for me to decide on, but I did go ahead and decide that I wanted to go ahead and get back to Tesla. And the only reason Tesla over Fiona, because Fiona is going to deal the better damage to both tank and air, which people are going to try to counter you with the tank. And then, of course, the air is going to be what a lot of people are pushing once you've gotten all of your heroes on the missile side, because Fiona's the very last hero you acquire. That's what you're going to see. But the only reason I picked Tesla over her, and that's going to hit one enemy unit, dealing damage equal to 454.73% of the attack. Cooldown is only 1.35 seconds, so it's constant over and over again. And it has the inductive current as well, which is awesome on his. But the only reason I picked him earlier than her is because Tesla has the exclusive weapon first on missile. And Fiona is going to be your very last hero overall. It's going to be Season 5 before you're going to be able to get hers, because they are definitely going in order so far of release. And Fiona was the very last hero released overall. So she's going to be your last person to get an exclusive weapon. And for that reason, I'm going to boost Tesla up to 31st. And then I'm boosting her. And then coming back and boosting, of course, Swift and Tesla's up as high as I can. So the next one we're going to do is we're going to go back to Adam again. You might go, Joe, why are you skipping over McGregor? And the reason is because Adam is your debuffer. He has got a buff on it too. So both of his skills are not helping just him, but helping the entire squad. And when you're looking at that top right skill, you're going to get a buff that's going to enter a counter defense state for 8.8 seconds. After releasing the skill, responds with a normal attack upon taking damage up to 1 per second. Cooldown is 10 seconds. So that counter defense is huge with that buff on it. It's going to help your entire team. Again, you're not getting a counter defense for the entire team, but the buff is going to counter the other team very well, and their best attacker 99 times out of 100. Next is we're going to finally go to McGregor. And we're going to McGregor. We're going to go to his top left, because it is also a debuff, prioritizes taunting front 2 enemies, reducing their attack by 16.5%. And you may go, Joe, why wouldn't you do that one early? Because most of the time the front 2 enemies are going to have the worst attack, guys. That's why. Now, does it matter? Yes, 100% it does. It helps a ton, and it's great to get that debuff, but it's not imperative to get that one immediately. After we go to do that one, my next favorite skill that we're going to do is we're going to shift over to Fiona's top right, again dealing physical damage. Let's watch that one. Check those rockets out. So Fiona is going to fire a rocket to hit all enemies. So all 5 enemies. Amazing. In fact, I think when all is said and done, once she's got her exclusive weapon, she will end up being your strongest missile attack hero. The only reason we're going with Swift first is over Tesla is because Swift has physical damage. And the only reason we're going with Swift over Fiona, and then of course Tesla in front of Fiona, is because it's going to take so long to get her exclusive weapon. So she's going to max out at 30 and be done. But she's going to fire rockets to hit all enemies, with each dealing physical damage equal to 718.17% of the attack. Cooldown is 10 seconds. Amazing skill there. Next, after we're doing that one, we're going to go back to McGregor again. We're going to finish out his defense. Reduces damage taken in battle for this hero only. That's the reason we're punting that one and going with Adam twice, and then his top right, and then now his bottom left. It's going to reduce all of his damage, and he is going to be your up-front hero. We're going to end up putting Adam in the back, and I'll show you that formation in just a second. Once we've done that, we know that we like, as far as the actual damage that it's dealing, we know that we like Swift over Tesla for that. So we're going to go next to Swift's bottom left, and it is going to increase his critical rating by 30.6%. That's great to have that critical rating up. Okay, and again, I'll show you guys a second, but I do actually like Fiona's better, and we're going to go to hers next. But again, we're not going to boost Fiona's first, because at that point, if you're at that point of boosting all of your stuff, you're most likely at a point where Swift's going to be at higher than 30 on his stuff. So you're going to want to know that you've got all of his all the way up to 30, so that he's getting a bigger critical rating on both of these when you go higher on them, okay? So now back to Fiona. Boosts this hero's physical damage. That is the number one, right? Physical damage is what does the most damage to both tank and to air. So that physical damage, bottom left hand for her, is going to increase by 30%. So both of these are going to have another 30% increase over their current percentages, which is huge. You can watch her be just amazing once you actually see her get the exclusive weapon. But again, it's going to be a long time. Then we're going to go back and we're going to boost Tesla's, which is going to boost his energy damage. And again, energy damage doesn't do as much damage as physical damage, but that's also kind of, with Tesla, it's not as bad as it seems, because look at how much higher his percentages are. So 1,312, and 454, and then you get that extra 30% boost, versus you're not getting quite that high. You're getting 892. So they kind of factored in for that, especially with his top right skill, which is the one I told you guys to boost first, of Tesla's. Then Adam top left is going to be your next one. The reason you're going with Adam is because Adam is now in your back. He is going to die after McGregor most of the time, so you want his attack to be dealing first. And I wish I would have kind of followed that and just went with his attack over McGregor's and not fold with McGregor's. And we'll get that one boosted all the way up here shortly. But both McGregor and Adam both deal physical damage, which is awesome to get that out of your front too. So you've got 4 physical damage dealers. That is the most of any squads that are out there, is getting 4 physical damage dealers. Air doesn't have that. Air has only got 3. And 2 of those are your up-front heroes, your defensive heroes. And then you have 3 with tank as well, but one of those is Marshall. And until he gets this exclusive weapon that hopefully boosts him, he's almost as bad as far as actual attack as the defensive heroes are. So McGregor, Adam top left, then McGregor top left is going to round that out for us, guys. And then that's going to be that attack with the machine gun, with each hit dealing physical damage equal to 388.13%, and cooldown's only 1.3 seconds. Watch him do it. And you may go, gosh, I mean, that percentage is high. Why is he not doing as much damage as these others are doing? Because he only has one that's doing attack. So your back rows are always going to do better than the two typical front row heroes. Now, again, Adam is not going to be the front row hero, and there's what his looks like. And let's go back now. And this is the formation you're going to want to use. Sorry, wrong. I was testing something out. This is the formation you're going to want to use right here. It's different than your formations on every other thing. And the reason being is that this hero in the bottom left, if you're staring, I mean, bottom right, if you're staring at it, if it's flipped around to where you're facing out, it would be your front left. Okay, your front left on there, McGregor, you're going to want him there because that's going to be the hero that's going to die the fastest. Okay, so most of the time. Now, the caveat for this one is that because of Adam's counter giving Swift so much longer life, in fact, Swift is often my final hero to die, you want to put Adam, who's buffing Swift, at the very back, okay? You want to put him behind Swift specifically, as opposed to where you normally put him in the safety, what we call the safety spot, because he is buffing, and you know that is going to be the safest spot because we know that specifically that Swift is going to live the longest. Then we've got Fiona in the back right there, and then we've got Swift in the middle. There are times in like arena and things like that where you may swap that up, or when you're playing player versus player, this is going to be the lineup you're going to want to use most of the time. Could that change in the future? Absolutely, especially once we get some more exclusive weapons. We've got McGregor's coming up next in Season 3. But, man, that's just exciting stuff. And just to run down again real quickly, you're going to have your number 1 is going to be Swift's top left. Number 2 is going to be Swift's top right. Physical damage is the reason you double up on him first before you go to Tesla. Tesla's top right is next. Adam's bottom left, so that you can have Swift get the debuff and start putting Swift up front and Adam behind him. Fiona, top left, anti-aircraft. That's going to really do damage to the aircraft heroes. Then Tesla, top left, so you can start getting that 13.12% damage from that. Adam, top right. That counter defense is going to be great for you. Then McGregor, top left, you're going to get his debuff. Then you're going to do Fiona's top right. Then we're going to go to McGregor's bottom left. And if Fiona was getting her exclusive weapon faster, we would want that top right for Fiona even faster, probably in front of McGregor's top left. But we got to start getting some defense out of McGregor at that point. McGregor, bottom left, will be after Fiona. That's number 10. Swift's bottom left, getting that critical rating up. Fiona's bottom left, getting that physical damage up. Probably be your best bottom left skill on attack heroes when all is said and done, but she's not going to get her exclusive weapon for so long, you don't want to hit it yet. Tesla's bottom left, that's going to increase all of that. Even though he's not doing as much damage, you'll still see he's taken out a lot of people. You'll notice that what he's doing is he does a lot of damage to the back row and very little damage to the front row most of the time. Especially the strongest front row. Like, so if you got Lucius there, he does very little damage to Lucius and very little damage to Williams, and those are the two toughest to kill, from these parts, and especially Williams. Williams is really tough on your missile heroes. And then your final two that you're going to do is Adam's top left. Again, you're doing that because he's going to move to your back once you've gotten these other skills done. And then you're going to do McGregor top left as your final skill. I say boost them up to 30 each time. I am okay, though, if you want to take those top 10 that we talked about and boost them all to 20 and then go back to it and go and start over again. Take Swift's his top left up to 30 and then to 30 and go like that. I would not move on to those bottom lefts for the attack heroes and top lefts for the defensive heroes until you've finished all of those out for sure and getting them all to 30. I would say it's okay to wait on the going past 30 once you get the exclusive weapons, especially if it's Teslas. You're okay with that. If you've already got the exclusive weapon for Swift, it is really, really great. So you might be tempted and you might want to jump over and just go and boost those all the way up as high as you can. before you get to some of these others. But, I mean, at the same time, you're going to want to have some attack out of them once you've gotten that far along in the game. That is going to be it for this one. I hope this was helpful as always. Thank you again, guys, for making this most requested video series so important. Thank you again, and I will attempt to make some purple hero ones here in the near future and talk about what the best purple hero skills are. I can't promise that'll be in the next week, but I will make that as soon as I can. Thank you guys so much. This is OMFG Joe from Server 379 signing out.